I'm Melissa Mancini with Canadian HR Reporter TV. I recently sat down with Laura Crawshaw, founder of the Boss Whispering Institute, to talk about dealing with abrasive leaders in the workplace.
What I found through my many years of coaching abrasive leaders and also researching them is that they are very concerned about being perceived to be competent, and we all are. But when they get anxious that perhaps something's standing in the way of that, somebody's moving too slowly or things aren't going the direction they want, they get incredibly anxious, and their way of handling that anxiety is to get aggressive.
What can HR do to intervene?
Well, certainly, as with a performance problem, you do verbal counseling, and with a conduct problem, I think the same should be the case. The problem is that when you do that kind of counseling, you're generally going to run into a lot of denial, so that if you say, look, I heard that you yelled at people in a meeting and said that if they didn't do the job, you'd fire them, a lot of times you'll hear, I didn't say that. I didn't do that, and you get engaged in this fact battle and it goes nowhere. My message is don't pay attention to the facts because you weren't there and you don't know. And a way to respond to that is, you're right, I wasn't there, I don't know, but I do know one thing for a fact, and that is we're getting a steady stream of negative perceptions about how people feel about interacting with you. Pay attention to that.
How can HR set limits and consequences for abrasive behavior?
I think it's important to differentiate between performance and conduct, and we tend to mix the two. So employers generally have no problem setting limits and consequences for poor performance. You know, unless you produce these projects at a faster rate, we're going to have to write you up and take further action. It's the same concept that you intervene as far as conduct. If we continue to get these concerns voiced to us, this cannot go on. And the second thing that employers need to understand is abrasive individuals, because they're blind to their own behavior, can't turn it around themselves. They don't know what else to do. So they need oftentimes specialized coaching so they can understand how they're perceived, what's causing those perceptions, and build strategies to eliminate them. So to turn around the whole destructive management style.
What should HR do to motivate upper management to intervene?
And there is hesitation to intervene with those high performers, but I think oftentimes employers think the only alternatives are, you know, cross our fingers, talk to the person and hope it works, and if it doesn't, either we just live with it or we have to terminate them. And you don't have to do that anymore. You can intervene, and a large number of these people can turn around their style. The problem is if you don't intervene or you just write it off as personality conflict, and that's hard to do after the fifth personality conflict, you as an employer will be viewed as tacitly condoning this kind of bullying behavior. And you'll hear employees say, look, the company doesn't do anything, they don't care about us. So it's not that difficult to take those steps, and it's risky not to.